Guys, beautiful sunny day here in Derbyshire in the Peak District, and I thought I would do a little video today on this beautiful morning just about my experience of the Royal Alloy and what I think of it after riding it for 5 months. Okay, so I'm going to do a very short video. We're going to go for a little ride. I'm going to tell you about my experience, but also the experience of other people that I know who are also owners of Royal Alloys. And stay tuned, I'm going to give you the full rundown. Let's go for a spin. Alright, so I'm going to try and do the video in one take with no editing. So if I go off on a tangent a little bit and start to ramble, just bear with me and we'll see where we go. Okay, so we're going to try and head up towards the village of Edale, right? Edale in the High Peak. We're going to go, might need to get some fuel on the way. But we're going to try and go through, let's go through Hayfield, right, and go that way. So just bear with me, guys, while I get this glove on. What I've noticed during hot weather as well is your hands swell up, and these gloves that normally fit become a lot tighter. Okay, these are probably a little too small for me, if anything. But I do like the feel of the gloves when they're nicely snug and they're not too cumbersome. All right, going to put the camera on. We're running. Let's go for a spin. Okay, so off we go. So, I'm going to try and do this whole video in one take with minimal editing, or no editing if possible, and trying to use the external microphone on the Ghost camera, and hopefully the sound will behave itself. So hopefully you can hear me okay. I've got the mic positioned just inside the helmet, and so first thing is I think I need to get fuel. I'm down to 1 bar, so we're going to head to the petrol station. We're going to fill up, and then we'll start the video for real. Okay, so just bear with me for a couple of minutes until we've got some fuel. Okay. Okay, so off we go. So just filled up with some fuel, unleaded. So these Royal Alloys take unleaded fuel, and of course it's just changed recently from E5 to E10. I'm filming this at the beginning of September, so a few days ago the fuel changed from E5 to E10. And that's the good thing about these modern machines, they can run on the new unleaded fuel, E10. Whereas if you have an old classic scooter like a Vespa or Lambretta, maybe it's not so easy. I'm not so sure, because that's something that I have no experience in. But yeah, these modern machines can certainly run on the new E10 fuel. Okay, so we're going to talk about my experience of the Royal Alloy. So I'm 5 months in, and I started scootering around the end of March this year, 2021, and this is my first scooter. So what do I think of it? I'm going to tell you exactly what I think of it, and I'm also going to tell you what other people think of it who own a Royal Alloy. I'm going to go through some good points and some bad points, and we're going to go on a little ride now. We're going through the village of Whaley Bridge, or the town of Whaley Bridge in Derbyshire. We're going to head up towards Chapel-en-le-Frith, and then from there we're going to head over towards Edale just for a very quick spin. Can show you the bike at different speeds, show you some stuff, and give you a clearer idea of what I think of the Royal Alloy. So we'll just wait for this traffic to pass. Hopefully the sound is behaving itself on this Drift Ghost XL mic. It's a pretty warm day today as well. It's probably, it feels like it's mid-20s, I'm not sure, but it's warm for September. So yeah, so this, as you know, if you've been following my channel, I'm on the Royal Alloy GT125. Could do with a little clean right now. This is the plastic panel scooter, the plastic bodied scooter, and Yeah, the Royal Alloy GT125. If you've been following my channel for a while, then I hope you've subscribed, because it's just nice to know that there's people out there watching these videos, and to get as many subscribers interacting as possible is great. So if you haven't yet subscribed, please do so. Please hit the subscribe button just below the video. Okay, we're off. Lifesaver, off we go. So the first thing about these Royal Alloys that you need to know is that, first of all, they're great fun, right? Very easy to ride. Also very, very nippy, right? For a 125, I believe that these are quite nippy, and they move really well, they accelerate quickly. And I've actually got a friend of mine, Dave, Big Dave, if you're watching this. Dave was into Vespers and Lambrettas all his life, and then was contemplating getting back into the scootering scene, and he had a go on this, and he was pleasantly surprised by the acceleration, by the handling, by the speed. He actually said it felt faster than a 125 should do, which is great. So the handling is really good, and it's great fun. Automatic, no gears, very easy to ride. So certainly if it's your first scooter, then I think an automatic is something that you should maybe consider, just because they're so easy and they're so much fun. Personally, I love the old Vespers, and the new Vespers are good as well. I believe they're very good machines, but they haven't quite got the looks, the retro looks that these Royal Alloys have got. And that's one amazing thing about these scooters. They actually look the part. They've got that retro look that some of the other modern brands like Vespa and Lambretta don't have. So we're tootling along now. We're doing about 34. Should I say that? We're doing about 30, right? We're doing about 30 in a 30 zone, and we're heading up towards Chapel-en-le-Frith, and it's a beautiful day. So as part of these scooters, the ease of use, what other good points have they got? Well, first of all, they're made of plastic. The GT125s are made of plastic. The GPs have got metal panels, so they're probably a little bit heavier. The GT that I'm riding is very light. Okay, it weighs in at about 130 kilos, I believe, which is pretty light for one of these machines. And because of that, it probably moves a little quicker from the off. So can you feel any difference? I don't know. The tricky thing for me is I've not got anything to actually compare it to, because I've never ridden a metal-bodied scooter, and I've never ridden an older scooter. But I do know that from having ride-outs with scooter buddies, scooter pals, on ride-outs, that these Royal Alloy GT125s, they seem to be quick off the mark, and maybe that's because they're a little bit lighter, right, due to the plastic panelling. On the downside of the plastic panelling, sometimes it can be a little bit squeaky. Okay, so when you're going over bumps, or you go over a lump in the road, you get a little squeak. Now I'm not sure if that's like the suspension, or if it's actually the plastic panel just moving a little bit, but it is a little bit squeaky sometimes. You get used to it, it's no problem. And I'm not sure if that's normal on a metal bodied scooter or not. Maybe someone can comment below and let us know. In general, the noise on these is the engine noise is nice. The standard exhaust that this one is running with is fairly quiet. So if you're looking for that kind of loud, not raw, but the classic scooter sound, then maybe you want to look at changing your exhaust to a Scorpion or a Tasso or something like that. But for me, I actually like the quieter exhaust. I'm not too keen on that kind of classic scooter noise that wakes everybody up in the morning. classic hairdryer sound. I like this factory fitted exhaust. I think it's got a really nice sound to it. Now this bike has got the aftermarket mirrors, the factory fitted mirrors that come with it, the black mirrors. I've still got those, but they're a little bit low, and they're not the best mirrors to get a good view of the rear viewing. So I upgraded the mirrors. Well, in fact, when I bought the scooter second hand, it actually had these mirrors with it. Although I did snap one and then had to buy a second pair because I'd snapped one when I dropped the scooter. You can see all about that on my other video, I fell off my Royal Alloy scooter. And I keep intending to do a video about the mirrors as well, actually how to replace the mirrors and how they attach and so on, which I'll do in due course. But yeah, these mirrors are aftermarket mirrors. They give a great view of the rear, and they give you that classic, I like the chrome, and they give you that classic scooter look as well. So, other good points about the scooter. Comfort. Okay, these scooters are a little taller and maybe a little bit bigger than the older kind of Lambrettas and Vespas. They're a little bit bigger, but because of that, I believe they're a little bit comfier, right? Great seats, great suspension. This is a 2019 scooter, so maybe the newer ones, the brand new ones, are even better, I don't know. But this has got great suspension, great feel to it. Even when you go over bumps in the road, you don't really feel them that much. It handles them really well. Like that one, for example, just went over a little pothole there. It's funny how sometimes you're trying to avoid the potholes, but you just miss them, you go straight over them. Not ideal, but it happens. Sometimes it's just too, it's on you too quickly to avoid it. So you just got to go with it. Okay, so what else about this scooter? It's comfortable, suspension is good. Like I said, I've got nothing really to compare it to, but the handling to me as a new rider feels amazing. I started riding in, well, I got the scooter at the end of March, did the CBT shortly after, so I've been riding for about 4 months, and it's just very, very easy to ride, being an automatic. Just wait for this traffic to pass and then I'll tell you a bit more. We're now in the village of Chapel-en-le-Frith, which I believe means church on the hill or something like that. No, church in the forest is what it means. Right, Chapel-en-le-Frith. Interesting. Lifesaver, off we go. So you can see we're up to 30 there, just with mild acceleration there, we're up to 30 already. Very, very quick off the mark, these things. Just be careful of that when you're riding one for the first time. In terms of, just going back to noise, we've talked about exhaust noise. In terms of rattles and things, I like to check mine every week and just make sure that there's no loose screws or bolts, nothing loose, nothing rattling around too much. Sometimes you find 1 or 2 screws that have just worked their way loose, so always good to check for those. And with mine having the front rack on, I think that creates a little bit of noise. It just rattles around a little bit, but again, you get used to that. It's no problem at all. Okay, so we're going to turn left here. We're going to head on to the A6. And we're going to head up towards Edale. If I can remember the way. go on a scooter or a bike, and sometimes myself and a few of the scooter lads around here would come up here for a quick shandy. Really nice ride. Now which way do we go? Do we go this way? Edale, yes we do. So Edale in the high peak. So in terms of speed, how fast does this machine go? 2.5 on the clock, downhill. I've actually had it up to like 66 on the speedo, but I believe that the speedo is a little inaccurate, shall we say. So in reality it's probably 4 or 5 miles less than what's on the speedo, so you're probably looking at about 61, 62, maybe a little bit more top speed downhill. In terms of going uphill, we're going uphill now. We're going up quite a steep incline, and I'm buzzing along at 45 on the speedo, and it's quite fast enough. It still feels responsive, it still feels quite nippy. Watch out for this cyclist. The road here is a little dodgy, really bad road surface there. So yeah, we're heading up towards Edale. Amazing scenery up here. Don't know whether you can see that because the camera's on the wrong side, but we'll get it on the way back down. We'll catch the way back down. So now I'm doing 44. We're going up quite a steep gradient. I've got the throttle fully open, so I'm giving it 100% on the throttle, and we're now at 46 on the speedo. Just take it easy on this bend. We're on a 50-mile-an-hour limit road, so I'm just going to open it up again. We're at full throttle, and we're doing 43, 44. It's still picking up 45, 46. I'm going to ease off so I don't get too close to that minibus in front. So yeah, it's responsive still coming up the hill. And you know, I've noticed that when I go out on rides with the scooter lads, then some of them are on the old classics, the Vespers, the Lammies, and when they're coming uphill they struggle. They really struggle. They almost slow down to a stop and then they buzz off again. And you know what I'm talking about if you've ridden one of those machines, or you've been out with someone on one of those machines. These machines are reliable on the hills. Now look at that, guys, can you see that in the distance? We've got the paragliders there. There's like 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, probably about a dozen or more, probably about 15 people. I think that's called paragliding, where you jump off the cliff. Amazing to watch. Can you see them? Amazing scenery here. Wow, that is incredible. Here's me thinking that scooting gives you freedom, but look at what them guys are doing. Amazing. Great road. So we're currently buzzing along at about 52, 53 mile an hour there. I feel like I've got loads left if I open it up, but I can't because I've got this minibus in front. And so we'll carry on buzzing along at 50 mile an hour. Can you see them there? Look at that. What an amazing sight. Wow. That is spectacular. Great day for it as well. Try and keep my eyes on the road. I'm actually going to try and pull in up here and get some better shots of that. See it on the camera. So we'll try and pull in and capture that. So yeah, I think these Royal Alloys, when you're zooming along like this in the sun, I don't think there's anything better, right? Very, very easy to ride, very good fun, very responsive up and downhill, and comfortable to ride. Great suspension. The thing we haven't spoke about is the brakes. I'm going to talk about the brakes in a minute. Let's just try and pull in somewhere if we can. Okay, so this is the turn off for Edale. I'll try and pull in here. In fact, I've just had a horrible thought that the camera isn't running and I'm talking to myself. So maybe I should check that as well. Let's pull in here. Camera's running. We're good. We're going to carry on. We're going to get up to the top of the hill. And let's see if we can get a better view of these paragliders. So you can see now I'm coming uphill doing 30. Really responsive on the hills. I mean, sometimes obviously you're going to get, you know, to full throttle and be struggling a little bit up the hills, but you know, how fast you want to go, especially on roads like this. You don't want to be going too fast on these roads. Now look at this, guys, look at this. What a view, look at that. So we've come up the top of the hill, we're dropping into Edale, and this is just an amazing view. Very, very popular with walkers and people that just appear to admire the view. Just awesome. Now there you can see the paragliders. I'm going to try and pull in here and capture this for you. Wow. So guys, check this out. I'm now recording this on my mobile phone, but look at that. See that up there? It's just floating around in the air. Absolutely amazing. How many can we see? There's a few more over there. What a great way to spend the afternoon. There's one. Absolutely incredible. Some cyclists coming up the hill here. Fit people. Wow, this is one hell of a hill to climb. Okay, let's fire the bike up and let's carry on down to Edale village. Look at that view. That is amazing. Just absolutely stunning. Pull the visor down just to try and improve the sound quality a little bit. Hopefully that's good. Camera's still running. Wow. Peak District in Derbyshire. It's got to be one of the most picturesque places in the UK, and it would be even better if it was by the coast, right? But it's not, it's inland, and Just stunning scenery. Great little villages, great pubs, great people. So, brakes, right? On an incline like this, we need good brakes. So, how are the brakes on these Royal alloys? Well, dead easy. You've got a front brake and a back brake. It's not like the old classics where you've got the foot brake. Just like riding a bike. I like to apply front and back in equal measure, very gradual, and obviously if it's an emergency stop, you're going to go front brake, back brake, front brake with increasing pressure. But yeah, brakes are really easy to use and very responsive. And again, I think the big thing, speaking to other people who've ridden classic machines, is that their brakes are terrible, whereas these modern brakes, you know, you can stop on a sixpence. Very, very responsive, very good, and feel safe, feel really safe. So, what else can we talk about on this scooter? Any bad points, apart from the squeakiness? Any bad points about this scooter? I've yet to experience any, let's put it that way. Every ride has been absolutely fun and positive, and I felt safe on this. And in terms of the looks, right, it's a retro looking scooter. Almost every time I've been out on it, I've had some, you know, admirer come up to it and say, that looks amazing, I used to have one of those back in '66, or, you know, I used to have one of them when I was a mod back in the '60s. And what's interesting is that a lot of the old guys who were into the original '60s scootering scene, they actually can't visibly tell the difference. Now granted, some of them should have maybe gone to Specsavers, but if they're not familiar with this brand, the Royal Alloy, to look at it, you just think it's a Lambretta, right? The shape, the design is very similar to the, I think it's the L150, and you know, people can't genuinely tell the difference, unless of course they're an expert, or they're, you know, they've got a lot of knowledge about scooters. To the untrained eye, they look the same. You put them side by side, this is probably a little bit bigger, a little bit taller, and a little bit newer looking, but it's still got that great retro look, and it does attract attention everywhere it goes. Right, and that's just something you don't get on a motorbike, you don't get it on a 125 motorbike, but you do on these machines. So if you're looking for looks, then, you know, you're certainly on track with one of these. So we're now heading into the village of Edale, and there's a couple of nice boozers here. Beautiful day, it's lunchtime. Maybe I'll treat myself to a little shandy. A lager shandy, which is like having half a lager, so still safe. I always like to pick the lowest alcohol lager for a shandy, like 3.8%, 4%, something like that. And then you know that you're well within the legal limit for driving. Is it a good idea on a scooter? Well, that's up to you, down to your personal judgment. But I like to play it safe and go between a soft drink or maybe a shandy, which is like half a lager. Turn left here. And there should be a nice pub up here on the left. I forget what it's called. We'll find it. Just pulled in at the Ramble Inn in Edale. Quick refreshment, and then we'll be on our way again, and I'll give you some more details about the Royal Alloy. Okay, so off we go. I'm just going to turn around up here and then come back down the lane, and I'm going to talk about the Royal Alloy in terms of people that I know that have had problems with them. Okay, so people that I actually know that I've spoken to that have had problems with them, and what kind of problems they've experienced. So let's just get out of the village and get back on the road. We'll see what sights we can see along the way, and I'm going to go through a few things about the bike, so just bear with me. Hopefully the sound is still good, still behaving itself. Give way at the station. Give way. Quite a tight bend there, so we'll just double check everything. Lifesaver. Okay. So this scooter, I bought it second hand, okay? And it had 4,000 miles on it. Now I had no idea whether that was good or bad, or whether that was high mileage or low mileage, but from people I've spoken to who've ridden scooters for a while, like old scooters, newer scooters, as long as you maintain them well, then mileage shouldn't be a problem, right? Just like a car, change the oil, give them a good service, and all should be good. So for me, buying a second-hand one, what were the advantages? First of all, it was a lot cheaper. I paid a lot less than buying a new one. I think a new one of these was about 2.8, and I paid a lot less than that. But in terms of other benefits, apart from just saving money, buying a second-hand, what are the advantages? Well, the bike's run in. Okay, the scooter's actually been run in, and any problems have been troubleshooted already. They've been fixed. Any issues, it could have been sent back to the factory, it could have been recalled. This particular scooter was recalled to the factory due to a problem with the brakes, I believe. So it was sorted out, sent back, sorted out, and came back pretty much good as new by the previous owner, not by me. But I do believe that if you buy second hand, especially one with a few miles on, then any potential problems have been found and sorted. The bike's it's running well, and as long as it's maintained, you're not going to experience many problems with it. That's the way I see it anyway. Now compare that with people I know who have bought a new Royal Alloy. So I know a few guys that have bought brand new and had problems with them, right? Had problems with this or that or the other. Probably like things like wiring. I mean, the build quality on these is good, in my opinion. It's exceptional. But then some people will say, oh, Chinese build quality isn't as good. The quality control isn't as good. It could just be something like you know, bad wiring or something, or I know that these models had a problem with the speedo, so a lot of them had speedo issues, and I know people that have had issues with the bike starting. I know Mike, if you're watching this, Mike had to send his back to the dealer just after getting his GT125 because it wouldn't start. Now I've no idea that was what caused that, but again, buying brand new maybe isn't always the best way to go. It should be, right? It should be, but maybe it's not. Who knows? All I can tell you is that my experience of buying second-hand has been great. Now, if you're looking to buy second-hand, obviously you can shop around. You won't really find these Royal Alloys on like Auto Trader and places like that. You might find one or two. But the best thing for you guys to do is to join a Facebook group. There's loads of the Royal Alloy specialist Facebook groups where people list these things for sale, right? And I got mine actually on Facebook Marketplace. It was in Swansea, of all places, so I had to drive down there to look at it and then get it shipped up in a van. But be prepared to travel. You know, you're not going to find one on your doorstep. And sorry, I'm just keeping my eye on the road here as we come up the hill. I really want to stop and get a good view of that amazing view there. Let's see if we get a nod. No, we've got one nod and one dirty look off the bikers. Sounds about right. So where were we? Yeah, buying second hand. Be prepared to travel, because these things are like, you know, they're pretty rare at the moment to buy second hand, because people that have got them want to hang on to them. I'm going to pull in here and just admire the view. Wow. Isn't that beautiful? Absolutely amazing. Edale. There's the village over there where we've just come from. Off we go again. So yeah, second hand, be prepared to shop around. They're not very common at the moment, and you will find one or two for sale, but make sure you get one that's been well looked after. This one was immaculate. Of course, if you're buying from a dealer, you get the warranty and so on, but yeah, I do know a few people that have had problems with them, with the reliability, with the starting, and with the speedos and things like that. So, you know, for me, second hand was a great choice. Heading up the hill here. Have you bought one? Right, maybe you've bought a Royal Alloy, you've had problems with it. I remember reading on, it's on one of my videos, I think it might be on the introduction video, or my Royal Alloy GT125 video, where there's a guy who's commented and he said he had nothing but problems with it. So he bought a brand new one. I don't know the guy, but he commented and said that he'd had like virtually everything that could have gone wrong with the scooter went wrong with it, and he bought new, and he had to send it back to the dealer like a dozen times or something, which seems crazy. But you know, who knows what the situation is? Maybe he was riding it in a kind of reckless way. Maybe he wasn't looking after it. Maybe it was too heavy for the bike. Who knows what the situation was? But for me, it's been a great little machine so far, with no problems. Now, hopefully, we're going to get a good view of the scenery here on the way back. Will we get them paragliders, maybe? As we head back towards Whaley Bridge, let's see what we can see. Lifesaver, we're good, off we go. There's a paraglider there, he's just come down in that field, can you see him? He's just gathering his chute. And there's some up there, look at that, can you see them there? all them there on the hill there. I don't know whether the camera will pick them up, but there's probably 20 of them there on the hill, just folding up their chutes and maybe getting ready to fly again. Really, really cool. Wow. I hope the camera's picking them up because it's well worth seeing. Okay, so we're scooting along now. We're in a 50 zone and we're just hitting 50 now. Very smooth, no problems whatsoever, great fun. Days like today that's made for scooting. Now I can hear the microphone there is blowing around a little bit. Hopefully the rattle isn't too loud, and hopefully you're still picking up the sound without too much wind noise. Absolutely beautiful, amazing. There's no one else on the road. A little bit of on the road. Now we're going to start the descent down this hill, and I'll watch the speed here because you can get carried away on this stretch. Amazing view again, look at that view. Some sort of construction work going on there. So, is there anything else that I can tell you about this? People that I know that have owned Lamis and Vespas and have switched to a Royal Alloy have said it's the best scooter they've ever ridden and they wouldn't go back. Or maybe they've kept their old machines but they just prefer to ride the new one, right? They prefer it because it's safer, it's just got more modern equipment, the brakes, the suspension, it's nicer to ride. And almost everybody that I know, I don't think there's anybody that I know, in fact, in the scooter groups, the scooter lads that I ride out with, have all said that the Royal Alloys are the absolute business. So everybody seems to love them, maybe apart from one or two, but you're going to get that with anything, right? You're going to get one or two people who aren't fans. I had one guy on the YouTube channel who called it a plastic pig, right? He was getting quite upset. He called them plastic pigs. So let's see if he comments on this video. Maybe he will, maybe he won't, but you know, each to their own. And like I say, everybody who I know who has switched from an old one to a Royal Alloy loves them. They just can't sing their praises enough. Look at the road surface here where the tyres are. Can you see how warm that is? There's hardly any road surface, hardly any grip on the road. So I'm trying to stay in the middle where there's a bit more grip. It's not loose gravel, it's actually solid, well embedded gravel. Again, bad road surface there. Just absolutely a joy to ride on a day like today. In fact, any time of day, any kind of weather. Maybe not in the rain, but if you need a fix, then you know, going out in the rain is the only option. So be it. How's the sound holding up? So avoid the bypass and head back through Chapel, just because the sound will be a little better and you won't have to put up with that wind noise. So any other negatives in terms of the scooter? Well, maintenance is something that I've not really tackled yet, right? Because it was serviced when I bought it. I've done about 1,300 miles on it since I bought it, so it's probably due a service very soon. It's gone slightly off kilter with the service intervals in the book in terms of mileage, but it'll be due a service soon. And I'm going to try and do as much of the service work as I can myself, right? Now, do I know anything about scooters? No. Am I mechanically minded? No. Can I be practical when I need to be? Yes. And am I prepared to learn? Yep. So I'm going to give it a go, right? And I'm going to try and do some of the maintenance myself. So I'll be doing some maintenance videos during the autumn and winter. Again, not from an expert point of view, but just from a beginner point of view. Kind of thing like, you know, if I can do it, then you can do it as well. And I'll show you the mistakes. I'll show you any errors that I make, and hopefully other people can learn from it. So they're coming up on the channel in due course. Okay, I'm going to shoot through there. That was a little bit naughty of me. But yeah, maintenance. Can you get parts easily for these? Well, there's a good dealer network all over the country, so I have no reason to believe that you can't. Although I do believe that some of the parts are, you know, they take a long time to order. I've read online that people have ordered parts and 5 or 6 months down the line they're still waiting for bits, so that's not good. Maybe there's a shortage of parts, maybe they're blaming it on COVID, who knows. And I believe if you're buying one of these new at the moment, then somebody told me recently there was an 8-month waiting list for these scooters now. So again, you know, another reason to buy second hand. Apparently the demand for these Royal Alloys has just exceeded the factory's expectations. The manufacturer's been caught off guard. They haven't had enough to supply, and now they're struggling to supply the demand. So there is a waiting list if you want one, and that's good, right? That means that the scooters that are out on the market for sale second hand are going to hold the value. So there's no reason to believe these things are going to lose their value quickly. They're going to hold the value. Who knows, maybe in future they might even increase in value, right? Cheap Chinese scooter, but well made, big demand. Who knows where it's going to be in 10 years or 15 years. Maybe these Royal Alloys will become the classics. So guys, feel free to comment, pop your comments in the section below. Please do make sure you subscribe. Always great to know the subscribers out there who are getting the videos and you know, tuning in and following not just one video, but like following all the videos and seeing my whole journey from start to finish. Well, we're never going to finish, it's always going to continue, but just seeing the whole journey, you know. Whoops, over a manhole. Look at that reg in front, T5 Saab. Nice car, Saabs. They don't make them anymore, do they? I think they're. I think they went bust a few years ago. So that'll certainly be a classic in years to come. So we're heading down now towards Whaley Bridge, coming from the village of Chapel-en-le-Frith. I can feel the cable inside the helmet. I've took the cable away inside the padding of the helmet, the microphone cable. I can feel it digging into my forehead a little bit. It's not the most comfortable. right now. Need to sort that out. Trying to think before we finish the video, is there anything else I can tell you? Just looking down there, we've got the battery cover. The battery cover, don't know whether you can see it, but that flaps around a little bit, almost as if it's a little bit loose, like it needs another screw in it to tighten it up. So that can be slightly annoying when it's rattling around, but you don't really hear it when you're going at speed. Scooter always starts first time, never lets you down. Fuel, just talk about fuel quickly. So the tank, it takes about £7 to fill it up, about £7, which puts about what, just less than 6 litres in. I normally run it down to about 1 bar and then I fill up. So from 1 bar to full, it takes about £6 or £7, not much. And I'm not sure whether that has like a reserve in it if you run low, how much the reserve is, but about £7 generally fills it up. And the mileage you get from it is great. I've not measured it, but you know, it's cheap as chips to run. The oil, I've topped the oil up once since I've had it, so I do check it regularly. The oil is definitely something you should check on a regular basis. This scooter is the air-cooled version, it's not liquid-cooled, so there's no coolant to check. So the general kind of routine maintenance is fairly easy to check the oil and check your brakes work, check your lights, check your horn, that kind of thing. All the stuff they tell you to do on your CBT. But yeah, maintenance videos are something I'm definitely going to be doing over the autumn and the winter, so stay tuned for those. And if you guys want to see anything in particular, right, if you've got any ideas for videos or you want to know anything at all, just comment below and I'll do my best to get a video put together. So we're dropping into Whaley Bridge now. Guys, thanks for watching. I'm going to sign off here and look forward to your comments. Cheers, guys.